nice lunch of pizza. So I'll keep knocking that over. Ah!
Some rock, paper, scissors action here.
Yep. Rock, paper, scissors.
I think that's a Robert classic.
It
if
is.
I recall.
Yeah. He's pretty famous for that one.
Yeah, flying back up from Texas, which he's now located in, just to play in this event. So cool to have him out here.
Yeah. Well, and also to kind of help some of our new folks who are kind of taking over our Buffalo Chicken Dip legacy in this area. Carrie Banyas and Matthew Strand are kind of keep things going up here, while Rob tries to get things started down there in Texas.
Yeah.
So.
Also, Carrie putting up a deep run in this event, so we might have him on later.
Yeah.
Definitely in the top 8. He is EXO going into this round. However, cannot draw because there's a lot of players at EXO and EXO1 and X1. Mm-hmm. So
Carrie is a repeat top 8er of multiple Buffalo Chicken Dip events.
I know he top 8'd the last one I commentated, which was 2 ago, and I think he might have won that one too. Actually,
yeah, he's definitely proven that he is a great legacy player in this scenario, this tournament series, and it's nice to have him and Matthew kind of taking up the torch for Rob while Rob is in Texas,
right?
And giving Rob the freedom to also be able to get these events started down there and kind of expand this series a little bit.
Yeah, so something to look forward to for people down south if you're looking to form a legacy scene.
Yeah, and then of course, fortunately for us, we still get to have these in Columbus, Ohio, for the foreseeable future, as Carrie and Matt kind of make things work for us.
Yeah, we certainly will not be going anywhere here. So it looks like the camera is still a little fuzzy. So just.
And worth noting, there is another event here tomorrow. There is a regular Buffalo Chicken Dip legacy event.
Yep.
So I am not able to come back for that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I will not be here for commentary. We'll see if I end up playing it. It's just weird things with traveling and.
For sure, yeah. I have to drive an hour to get here.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm 2 hours away. So.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm not probably going to be making it back up here tomorrow either. But there is going to be another one of the regular 64 player Buffalo Chicken Dip legacy events. So those are always fun.
Mm-hmm. So in these tempo versus lands matchups, we really want to develop that early threat like Rob has been able to do.
Rob just flipping the days up.
Yeah, just kind of prevent this lands deck from getting the engine going of Life in the Loam plus Exploration, because it's really hard to break up once it starts going. Really hard to manage getting wastelanded 5 times in this matchup.
Yeah.
Just not something the deck is really well suited to fight back against. And this turn 1 Nethergoyf is very, very important here. To start putting some sort of clock on the game. Attacks for a good amount on turn 1. Potentially 3 or 4.
It's like it's just 2 at the moment.
Yeah, we could easily see something like a Ponder or a Brainstorm followed by a Bauble, and suddenly attacking for 4 damage on turn 2, which is
second,
just the second
Nethergoyf.
Yeah.
Now this could also be sort of bad too, because obviously Andrew has access to a lot of the silver bullet lands that Legacy is well known for. One of those, obviously, most famous of them in Landshell being Tabernacle, and a Tabernacle here would be pretty reasonable.
Yeah, Tabernacle would be very, very good here. Another possibility, I don't know if this deck in particular is playing it, but Blast Zone is sometimes in these decks.
Uh-huh.
And that's able to just shred through.
I don't see a Blast Zone. No.
But looks like chosen to exclude it. But the 3 full copies of Maze of Ith.
Yeah.
But that's not as good when there's multiple creatures going on. So let's see if we just look to redeploy that Life in the Loam here.
I mean, even just a Maze here staunches the bleeding. Rob.
Do we have other days?
Rob thinking about, oh, man. Rob playing the tempo game hard here with this. There's a maze. These signed mazes. Wow. That's pretty. That signed Life from the Loam is really, really gorgeous, too. Well, now these Goyce are really good.
Up to 3 power here.
Yeah.
For the Ponder. And this is definitely a deck that's certainly able to perform on only one land. Not a huge deal that he keeps dazing. Just establish the mana, set Andrew back on lands, make sure he's not able to pull too far ahead, make sure he keeps...
a good play here would be the Wasteland on this Maze of Ith.
Well, we had to replay the Underground Sea.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yeah.
Wasteland's not going to be super great in this game because of access to
Loam.
Access to Loam on the other side. But we'll see what Rob can set up if he can clock this deck fast enough.
Looks like we are interested in continuing to Loam, which I think it makes sense in this case.
Yeah.
There's a depth in there.
And I'm pretty sure there's a stage from earlier. So,
yeah.
And we have the 2 requisite mana already. So it is something that we are threatening very fast here.
Yeah. And, really, these Delver decks, one of their classic weaknesses is a 20/20 flying indestructible in the air. So, that's hard for them to deal with sometimes.
There's one Brazen Borrower.
Just flip 3rd days in a row.
Rob
looking at the camera.
Yeah.
Like, yep, I know what I did.
And we have a Stifle, which is... We might be stifling this Maze of Ith here at some point.
Quarter?
Yeah, there's a Ghost Quarter on the other side.
That's another really pretty looking foil. I'm already in love with Andrew's deck.
Yeah, both players clearly Legacy veterans. Lots of foils in both of these decks.
Oof. Continuing to try and Loam here. I think it's going to stick this time because he has the mana to pay for days if there was one.
Yeah, but I think the best land to get back is Thespian Stage. Maybe we don't have the mana to copy Dark Depths.
No.
Or to copy Maze of Ith this turn.
I thought there was another Maze of Ith in the yard.
If there's another maze, then that's... looks like a Bajuka Bog, which is...
Oh, yeah, there is another maze.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, that bog is pretty good here, honestly.
Yeah, it is one of the weaknesses of these Goyfs is that this deck is now suddenly very reliant on the graveyard.
Stifle the trigger! That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to get in for a good amount, but next turn he can deploy a second Maze of Ith, and we still have to do something about that.
Right.
We're only cracking in for 3 here again, unless we find a Wasteland. Suddenly doubles that, but just another 3. No, we have the maze in hand. So.
The thing about these lands deck is it's much like the Beans deck we always saw last turn, where the more the game goes on, it more favors them because they can keep playing lands that impact the game.
Right, and we know we have the second maze in hand, and Rob only has these 2 threats. We're threatening Dark Depths eventually, but no really need to rush on that.
Right.
Because Rob's doesn't actually presenting a clock here.
At this point, no. Yeah, Rob has to...
We really need to...
Find a wasteland or something.
Yeah, find a couple wastelands, probably.
Frog, though.
Frog is okay, but we're still only getting in for 3, and we can...
just plow the frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and 2 turns from now, we can set up Dark Depths.
Yeah.
With double maze, and so.
Yes.
Looks like Rob's going to discard his Underground Sea to the frog to go up above 20 life to make sure he's not dead in 1 hit. But
yeah.
I don't see it being that relevant. I don't think we'll need. I don't think it matters that there's only one hit, or that they're going to need to hit twice.
2 more Swords to Plowshares, and I'm pretty sure there was one already that got milled. By the Life of Moses. All 4 of the Swords to Plowshares are in the graveyard.
Yeah, but Rob doesn't have a hand, and
No.
this deck really cannot work out from a lock for.
I'm just commenting on the fact that it's amusing.
Yeah. You could mill over literally every spell in the deck, and I think he would still win at this point.
Yeah. Get back Wasteland.
Again, it's one of these games where we've established how we're going to win. It's going to take a little bit to actually enact this plan.
Right.
We can play out the Thespian stage here.
Seiju.
Start. You can win this game any number of ways.
Yeah.
You can wasteland amount of mana. You can just Thespian stage or Dark Depths and attack 2 times. You can just besiege you to get rid of all of the dual lands in his deck. There's really no limit to how much you can do.
All right, Dark Depths. Yeah.
Looks like we're going for the Dark Depths line, which makes sense. Seems pretty safe here. Not a ton to worry about. It's only the 1 card coming off the top for Rob.
Tapping the Ghost Quarter.
Yeah. One of these artifacts, I imagine. Pithing Needle.
Pithing Needle? Okay. Probably name Wasteland?
I think at this point in the game you can you could afford to just name Wasteland.
Just to cut off the future, hey, you might draw a Wasteland, and that kind of impacts me.
Right, because Wasteland both stops the Thespian stage Dark Depths, but also stops these 2 Mazaviths. So it just seems pretty safe to needle Wasteland here.
Yeah.
Can't get confirmation, but I imagine that's what you're doing.
These lums have been interesting to watch.
Yeah. Don't think it really matters if we dredge versus take a natural draw for the turn, but
no.
I think all lines are leading to Rome here.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely got it kind of well in hand at this point.
Right.
I don't think Rob can pull out of this. So 3 Mazaviths.
Yes.
All 3 of the ones in the
3.
deck. We have assembled Exodia.
Yeah. We could make literal Exodia, which is just called Merit Lage, but we've decided to go for the more scenic route to get here. Maybe I'm wrong and we haven't seen the Thespian stage.
I haven't seen the Thespian stage. No.
Oh, I thought we milled it early. No. Maybe that's what we
It was the 2 Mazaviths.
Right.
They look very similar.
Yeah.
Because he's playing the Judge Mazaviths.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with that art.
Yeah.
So I guess we're just waiting to draw that. Start ghost quartering him out? Is that the plan here? Oh, looks like we didn't name Wasteland.
Interesting. Do we name Bloodstainmire?
I would assume so. That or Frog are the only 2 names, right?
Yeah. That's interesting. There's the Thespian stage.
Oh.
Because he's playing the old border Thespian stage.
Yeah. Alright. Now we have 2020s. That's exciting.
Yeah, always exciting. I love seeing a good Merit Lage.
Yeah. What token do you think he's going to have here?
Oh, that's a good question. Do we get to see the token? Does Rob concede before we get to see the token?
Oh, I think Rob's going to let us see the token.
Okay. No, Rob!
Oh, no!
We wanted to see the token!
No! And money writing on this.
Right? Oh, boy. Alright, so Andrew Beldin takes game 1. We go to game 2. Let's look at the sideboards here. So Rob has obviously quite a bit of stuff that is kind of geared towards the current metagame of, scam and all that fun stuff. So obviously we have Brazen Borrower. I think Brazen Borrowers are pretty reasonable.
I like Brazen Borrower a lot against these land decks. Even bouncing something like a Mox Diamond is pretty beneficial.
Yeah, I honestly think simply because this looks more like a old school traditional lands deck. Mm-hmm. There are no creatures in this deck.
No.
So Fatal Push comes right out.
Yeah.
Like you're not casting that card at all.
Yeah.
So, like, Force and Negation, obviously, should probably come in. Harbinger of the Seas, Brazen Borrower.
Silent Gravestone?
Silent Gravestone's even
That,
really
that
good.
one, that one shuts off Life from the Limb pretty well.
Yeah.
And just, again, just trimming things like these
Fatal Push.
Fatal Push, Dazes, not... probably it's worse than this matchup, I would say. Just it just very frequently, like, he got dazed 3 times, and it did not come close to that.
Right, yeah.
Because
for sure.
Very hard to establish behind it.
Yeah. So, on Andrew's side, we've got, like Celestial Purge, we've got Choke. I think Choke probably is pretty reasonable.
Choke, this is the Choke matchup.
Yeah, you definitely want to have Choke here. Disruptor Flute might also be a card that you want to have, just because it cuts off, you can cut off Wasteland, and...
You're way more concerned about your own Wastelands than opposing ones. I think that, like, traditionally from these land stacks, you don't actually care if your opponent wastelands you very much. That's fine, because it means they're not playing an actual land that turn.
Right.
So, quite often I'm very happy to get wastelanded as lands, just so we can continue towards my goal of not having any lands in play.
Right. And I think it's also just like a flexible card, too. So, I don't know about if the Cyborg Vexing Bauble comes in or not, just because you might want it.
Yeah, I think...
Celestial Purge might be also.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see 1 Celestial Purge and 2 Choke and not much else.
That's fair.
And then just trim on, like, these Sylvan Libraries are really not good against Delver because you don't want to be paying life.
Right, exactly.
It's really hard on your life total, and then probably the Petting Needle comes out and just kind of small adjustments, nothing too big here. Your deck is already pretty well set up for the matchup.
Yeah.
This is kind of why you want to be playing lands, is so you play against these tempo decks. So this main deck looks pretty well set up for the matchup. Again, just a couple small adjustments that would make to be a little bit better suited.
Right. I think if we are able to finish this match in a reasonable time, I think we should get Rob in here and talk to Rob a little bit, just simply because him coming back up for this event, and so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But he might also be on during the top 8.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so kind of see what happens there. Yeah, Rob definitely loves his Grixis tempo decks.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
well known for piloting these.
Yep. I have played against him in Vintage with almost the exact same amount of piles and stuff like that. That are very close to what these decks are in Legacy. The Loris, tempo Saga style decks, and I definitely had the experience playing against him in those kind of things.
I definitely much prefer those decks in Vintage than in Legacy right now. Loris is a heck of a drug. In that format.
Yeah, it is.
Very, very good. It's like Rob's Snap Mulligan.
Oh, yeah.
Is 7, and Andrew's thinking, and I think decides to keep. Not a great sign. Rob is really just looking for some early pressure plus some way to disrupt the Life in the Loam engine on the other side. There's
Force and Negation.
Force and Negation is ideal, but also even like a Silent Gravestone is also quite good. Or I think Harbinger of the Seas is his number 1 plan.
Yeah.
In this matchup.
You really want to have that as an option, and then hope they don't have like a Mox Diamond.
Sword Plowshares or Choke or anything of that nature.
Choke with a Harbinger out seems amazing.
Yeah, I don't know who's favored from that spot, I'll be honest. I haven't seen it many times.
That would be great.
I've
definitely ridden the Harbinger life pretty well with that card. I've definitely had games where I've had Harbinger in play, and it rides the game entirely. It's such a good card.
Yeah. It's also really rough for these land style decks because off Magus you can play things like Lightning Bolt or other various red removal spells, Punishing Fire, for example, to get rid of Magus. it's really hard to get rid of Harbinger for just blue mana.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I imagine, part of why we see Otawara in this lands deck is because it just bounces.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have any other way to beat it other than bouncing it for a turn and then getting to do your thing. Yeah.
Well, we have the turn 1 Dragon Rage Channeler, but we
turn one
also have the
exploration.
turn 1 Exploration. And,
Rob didn't have an answer for it.
well, or chose not to answer it. So
Yeah.
there's some reasons, like if you have Force of Negation in your counterspell, you probably don't want to answer the Exploration because you'd rather go off to the Loam.
Yeah.
But it is. So some hands Exploration is really good, and some hands Exploration is very bad. It really just depends. And it's very hard to know for sure how often you're supposed to force Exploration.
Yeah.
But certainly I would rather start this game off with an
Surveil land.
With an Exploration in this matchup as opposed to a Dragon Ratio.
Looks like that was a Lush Portico. That's the only one in his list.
Yes.
Very pretty foil.
Yeah. It is funny, you do kind of want it to be blue because of Otawara, but you also don't want it to be blue because then it gets locked under your own choke.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very strange dynamic in Strategy.
Yeah. And again, it just showcases how strong those cards are.
Yeah.
Like that card selection, being available to any color combination, it's incredibly powerful.
Right. Second Dragon Rage Channeler, this is where these cards start going off here.
Right.
It's just so much ability, like such high ability to dig super fast from this deck, and even if he doesn't have the perfect answers now, it's pretty likely that he's able to find them pretty fast. So he has the Wasteland. Let's see if he has the follow-up Life from the Loam. That'd be very good here.
Right. So it looks like those are the retro Modern Horizons foil DRCs. That's pretty good, pretty cool.
Okay. Sword's one of them. Now down to a more manageable number of those. And do a ship to turn back. So, yeah, I mean, if there's no loam going on, Exploration is pretty manageable. But
Right.
as soon as a loam hits the stack and doesn't get immediately negationed, that's not looking great for Robert anymore. Brainstorm looking for
Something.
more threats, force negation, some way to shut down loam. And I think just one still.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's not turned on just yet. I think I saw like instant land, maybe sorcery.
I don't think I've seen Ponder yet. I think it's just
No.
Instants and Land.
Instants and lands, yeah.
But Andrew not doing a whole lot here. Looks like he just passes the turn back. No
Interesting.
follow-up land. It's not that many cards that you would just hold here as opposed to playing out. So some options here, there could be a choke, there could be something like a crop rotation where you want to save it.
Mm-hmm.
It could be things like Mox Diamond where they just don't do anything. But
Right.
he has a number of cards and is choosing to not deploy them. So there's not that many cards that he could be holding in the spot. I guess he could be Celestial Purge and you don't want to purge the Dragon Rage Handler. So,
Yeah, I think that's the other thing. Like, it's also hard for us to see if we can see anything because of the blur.
yeah. Well, he's definitely holding a number of cards, and
Yeah.
there's not that many cards where you have Exploration play, you haven't made any land drops, and you're just saying go here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for
You're,
sure.
So there's not a very wide range of cards that Andrew can be holding here, and Rob knows this, and so I'll see how he chooses to play with this information.
This gets to somewhat play around force negation by having something up on his turn.
Alright. Down for one again.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely here.
Chip damage is chip damage. This is very interesting. I did see a force negation in Rob's hand.
Yeah, that is probably pretty good here, but it's okay. Second exploration here. Oh, Vexing Bauble.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I mean, it's possible we were holding for Vexing Bauble into Loam, but it's not really going to work out very well against Force of Negation.
No, because he can shard cast it.
Right. So, imagine Rob just lets it go here.
Oh,
yeah,
he's
and
just cracking it.
Right.
Interesting.
Andrew, really lied on action, as we could tell from the previous turn, because just passing with a full hand, basically.
Or maybe just be waiting to just set up a 2020.
Yeah, but if he's waiting to set up, then you can just wait and play both halves on the same turn.
This is true.
And you could have done that the prior turn. Yeah. So I think it's very unlikely that he's holding.
I think he just drew that. That's
right.
That's probably what it is.
Like, that's the only thing that makes sense. But again, there's not that many other cards you can have at this point, other than Mox Diamonds and crop rotations and various counter magic.
Right. Well, it's Wasteland.
Yeah, I don't need to fire anything off just yet here.
Another Dragon's Race Channeler.
Yeah.
No, because you could still just hold it. You're still now able to threaten this Force Negation.
Right.
Hard cast.
And we've already seen one Vexing Bauble, and normally when there's one Vexing Bauble, there's a second.
Right.
In the deck list, at least. Just very hard for me to tell what Andrew is working towards. Yeah.
Just passing. Interesting.
Yeah.
Was that a bauble? Nope. Wouldn't have been because Rob would have played it first.
Right. Yeah, looks like we have a swords. Just have to let it go, I would imagine. Can't.
Yeah,
you really don't want to force negation this and have your opponent top deck Loam. And you have two of them. Yeah. But you can also tell your opponent is kind of weak here. Right? Like, they clearly don't have anything.
He's going to go for it. Interesting.
Yeah. This also does push a lot of damage because, we get to surveil towards the Lyrium.
I think he just might have hit it. I don't know.
I think we're still missing sorcery.
Yeah, maybe. I see creature. Otawara.
That is one of the cards that makes sense for him to have here. Is a card that you wouldn't play. I think still just one.
There was a bauble. That's interesting. Huh. I wonder why he wouldn't have played that
before combat.
Right.
Yeah, just.
Well, I think it didn't matter because I think if he played it before combat and then, I don't know. That's interesting.
Maybe playing around things like endurance a little bit.
Could be. That's definitely interesting.
Yeah. But Andrew is still, struggling to find action.
Right, and now this Dragon of Shanghai is delirious because of the artifact. So
certainly. Just deploying a second one.
Yeah, the one that was bounced to hand for with Otawara.
Right. Down 9, and clock is ticking. We don't have that many more turns where we can. We're not digging to that many cards here because of the amount of wastelands that Robert has on activated.
Ponder, getting to just see multiple cards there.
Yeah.
with the Dragon's Rage Channeler and the Ponder.
Yeah, when Ponder digs 5 deep, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good, yeah. Really, he just needs to keep the tempo up. I just saw Mox Diamond get drawn, so... Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
that'll
then.
do it.
Yeah, Rob taking game 2 here. Looks like maybe just Andrew just didn't have anything going on.
Yeah, I mean, we could see he was just kind of drawing blanks forever. And that's one of the problems with not putting Brainstorm and Ponder in your Legacy deck is sometimes you just draw the bad cards.
Yeah, that's what you sign up for when you play those kind of decks, though.
It most certainly is, but that's... there are certainly merits to casting the Brainstorm and Ponder.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It's also reasons why you would want to not do it. Rob would really like to have something similar happen again here. He had the multiple early threats.
Right.
He had the Force of Negation backup, and Andrew was just really struggling to convert his card advantage into anything meaningful, right? Like, he had the turn 1 exploration, but he didn't have any engines going, so it didn't really matter. And he had early removal spell, but Rob was able to use those cantrips, find more threats, and just establish a faster clock than Andrew was prepared to deal with here.
We'll see what happens here for game 3. This is one of those very classic Legacy matchups, though. The Lands versus Delver matchup. So
it's been happening long time, longer than I've been playing the format, certainly, and as long as I've been watching, and certainly longer than I've been playing the format. It's been a relevant matchup. And Lands is kind of designed to prey on this deck, but especially with the introduction of Harbinger and all these new tools that Delver's gotten, where Lands really is not improving as much relative to the rest of the format, does mean it's a lot closer than it has been in the past, I think.
Yeah, it looks like Rob's going back for a mulligan. I see it Otawara, I see a Plow.
You can see a Thespian Stage.
Yeah.
Swords of Plowshares.
Was that a Thespian Stage?
I think so. Let's find out soon enough.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
That
a lot of glare plus the blurry camera design.
Yeah, well,
not a great combination.
And now that we know that the Thespian Stage is retro, that helps a little bit better. Yeah.
One thing we haven't seen is Frog just completely run away with the game.
Yeah.
Which is somewhat held back by the amounts of Mazaviths that Andrew has access to, but it is certainly a creature that, if not answered fast, can just start snowballing completely out of control this matchup.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, anytime we've seen one, it's been plowed.
Right.
So, that's very... makes a lot of sense.
Alright.
There's one deck I wish I would have seen in the room today. It would have been interesting to see. Is the Esper Pride, Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls deck. I don't think anybody brought that or anything like that today. That would have been fun to see.
Those are very impressive decks. Also, we see the turn 1 Vexing Bauble, and Rob really having a think over.
Yeah. Nice. We'll let it go.
Yeah, I think normally you just have to let it go and just play the fair tempo plan. Just forcing it is just so brutal here, and eventually you'll be able to force around it or balance it, or they'll sacrifice it themselves at some point. But so it's very hard to justify force bowling it, especially off an Otawara, which is a strange land to play on turn 1.
Yeah, that is for sure. Yeah.
Otawara on 1 is not exactly a show of strength. No. Because it's both a land you would like to keep in hand and a land that doesn't produce mana of the relevant. Well, scratch all that. There's a fetch land.
Yeah.
So, not as color screwed as we might have been, but certainly a card we'd rather have in hand than in play.
Yeah, for sure. I imagine we go get basic forest here.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Savannah.
It's kind of one of the issues where we have a colorless land and we need both of our colors and mana because I know we have Swords Plowshares in hand.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So we need to be able to cast that. But Also, if we get wastelanded, it might be pretty problematic here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
I think he's just going to go for the plow.
Yeah.
Oh, no, exploration. Interesting.
Yeah. Might have the follow-up white source here. And we know because that...
Interesting.
Yeah. We know because of that bauble that, like, everything is just free to resolve.
Yeah.
The question here is, if you had Wasteland from Rob's side, do you fire it off on the Savannah right there? Because I think I would.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If
like,
he had drawn it, yeah, that would have been perfect.
Like, your opponent has more lands in play than you and has exploration going, but it's not clear to me that they are super solid in terms of colored mana.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he can find some way to pressure the green and white mana on the other side, I think it could be pretty problematic for the land stack.
Whoop, whoop. I was like, okay, I'm going to look at those two cards anyways.
Well, I don't think he saw it. I think it flipped straight.
It kind of just like slid off.
Yeah. Right. Well, get a good look at Andrew's hand there, at least. So
yeah, I see.
So it's Tabernacle, Swords of Plowshares, and the red or black Celestial Purge.
Yeah.
So again, if at any point we can go after that green and white land, it could be real trouble for Andrew to reestablish that. Also, you can't play Mox Diamond here because you have Vexing Bauble in play.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's true. But he does get to play, like, if he draws, like, a Wasteland here.
A Wasteland would be great.
Yeah, like Wasteland into Tabernacle. So Tabernacle, okay. Maze of Ith.
Maybe it was Maze in the opening hand.
Yeah.
No. All right. Now you have to figure out if you want to keep it around or not. We know there's a Maze, so it's kind of hard to figure out.
Yeah. Looks like he's gonna pay for it. No. I feel like you let it go.
It really depends on the context of your hand, right? If you have a bunch of lands and creatures and you don't have any spells, you're probably going to pay to keep it around. Yeah. But if you have a bunch of cantrips, you probably want to look for that, look for wastelands.
Yeah.
And I did see Ponder, so it makes sense to let it go.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Freeing up your mana for the turn. That's interesting. I think the best thing that Andrew could rip here would be a loam.
Well, it certainly is. If at any point Andrew draws the life from the loam, this game, Robert is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. You could be able to get to Wasteland and fetch and then have like Tabernacle rolling. Yeah.
Yeah. If we draw loam and it's not exiled, it is game over.
Yeah.
I think that is...
Molten Collapse on the
Vexing Bauble.
Yeah.
I mean, Exploration isn't doing a ton here, so...
Just draw a card.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Get a card on your way, yeah. Well, but, I mean, Exploration really doesn't matter. And from this, I assume that Rob has some way to deal with loam, right? Whether that be negation or...
This is a good draw.
It is the second best draw, maybe even the best if Rob is only working with negation.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, having a Saga seems really good here.
And however, if Rob is able to drop the Harbinger...
Yeah, that's definitely it, yeah.
Andrew... Oh... Ooh, just a pass.
Saga gets to go up to two counters. See, just passing turn. It's interesting.
Yeah, but Saga is a little bit awkward with Tabernacle. The two don't work together super well, and Rob's hand seems to be quite reactive. You see the Brazen Borrower.
Yes.
Which makes a lot of sense. I have to imagine there's some sort of force, whether that be Force of Will or Force Negation, otherwise it doesn't really make sense to blow up the bauble when it can be sacrificed to draw a card. Looking like a lot of reactive.
What does he get off of Saga?
Second, Vexing Bauble, Soul Guide Lantern, or Expedition Map. 9 out of 10 times, I think it's Expedition Map.
Yeah, I would say that's probably accurate here.
The question is, what do you get with Expedition Map? I think you're just Wasteland.
Did he just miss his Tabernacle trigger?
Yes.
Ooh.
He did.
That's not good.
Yeah. Alright. Or I'm gonna run over there. Well, I guess he might have tapped the Saga to pay for it. I couldn't quite catch if that's what happened.
Oh, yeah, you know what? That's probably what he did.
Yeah.
The Saga was tapped, so...
Yeah, but it indicated floating mana, so it's hard to see. It's hard to tell for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll just assume that the Saga was tapped to pay for the construct, and if it happens again, then...
Yeah,
Or there's 3 mana spent this turn. Alright, second Saga. See if Rob wants to bounce it, but... It doesn't really do a lot of good to bounce it when there's Tabernacle in play, right? It's kind of constricts the amount of constructs that they're allowed to make anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's a Soul Guide Lantern.
That is a Soul Guide Lantern, yeah. Goyf. Goyf looks like maybe a 2 or a 3. At least a 3. It's got to be at least a 3.
Sorcery, instant lands, creatures exiled.
Yeah.
Looks like a 3. And we know Andrew has a bunch of removal spells here, so probably thinking about using those at end step. Yeah.
Oh.
Just gonna Celestial Purge.
Wow. Yeah.
Start getting your constructs through.
You gotta pay for your Tabernacle.
Yeah, looks like you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's very awkward to make a ton of constructs with Tabernacle in play because it costs a bunch of mana to make them, and then you have to pay for them on the next turn. That's somewhat dangerous.
Okay. You're gonna force a negation that. Yeah.
Pitching a Frog.
Oh yeah.
Which is pretty strong here, but if you can wait out this first construct, wait till the Saga resolves. You can't make another construct and pay for the first one. So then you can bounce the construct, and then you're not really under that much pressure. So it's kind of weathered the storm, except there's probably going to be Expedition Map coming off of this one.
Yeah.
And that's not super clear what Expedition Map gets. Like, even just a Wasteland to cut Robert's potential mana in half is super strong here. And then under Tabernacle, that just gets really amplified. And we're also still drawing towards that loam.
Yeah, right.
But at any point in time, we can find that loam. It's bad news for Robert Wilson. Having to think here. Brainstorm.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I don't know that I saw a fetch land in there. So that's really rough.
Yeah. So have to pay for the constructs.
And resolve your Urza Saga.
Yeah. Both main deck and sideboard Vexing Bubbles are gone, as well as the Soul Guide Lantern. So we're left with Mox Diamond and Expedition Map, and in theory, Grafter's Cage or Pithing Needle, but I doubt either of those are in the deck currently. No. So I imagine it has to be Expedition Map here. And we can figure out what we're doing after that.
Right.
We don't have to crack it immediately, right? We can afford to sit back, figure out what we want, figure out if it's a 2020 game, if we're just trying to wasteland him off lands. We know he's Brainstorm locked, which is good, but he does have a basic land in play.
Yeah.
So
this is good because this makes this construct a 3/3. So that's some reasonable.
But we know we have the Brazen Borrower, and there's not a follow-up Saga yet. So we might finally see the Brazen Borrower here.
Oh, cracking it. Interesting.
Well, looks like we just took it.
Yavimaya.
Well, it doesn't make a lot of mana on this board.
No, but it helps the Tabernacle pay for the construct.
Yeah. It makes a Tabernacle make mana. It makes a Maze of Ith make mana. So it is pretty strong on this board. And there's the loam. Let's see if we have any answer to this. We force of negation to the bauble. So I'd imagine we have to have something. We have force of will. Pitching Force of Will.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really get rid of it forever.
No. And that's rough, because...
Yeah.
Yep, Brazen Borrowing the construct. But I think that's okay for Andrew, because that frees up his mana.
Yeah.
The next turn.
Oh!
Ha 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 ha! Well, that Harbinger of the Seas, so good.
It's exactly what Robert needed this turn. But
wow.
Andrew has to dig himself back out.
And now, well, yeah, they're all islands.
Doesn't have the basic in play. He had to fetch the Savannah.
Yavimaya doesn't do anything because it gets overwritten by the island subtype.
And one of Ottawara is in play already.
Yeah.
So, however, if at any point we can draw a basic forest, we could crop rotation our Ottawara away and then rebuy it with loam.
That's true.
Which would be...
But this clock is now started.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Started ticking.
Yeah, because this frog will just kind of eat away with the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So we need to draw Mox Diamond or Basic Forest, and we need to draw it fast. Swords of Pleasure is definitely in hand, but it can't be cast here.
Yeah. So many islands in play.
Yeah. Hopper does have his Basic Swamp.
You do have this Soul Guide Lantern you could pop to draw a card.
Right.
But that looks like a Goyf.
Yeah, you have to determine if it's better than using it to shrink the Goyf.
Right.
How many turns each option buys you?
I feel like Rob just sits. Okay, so there's a. Rob may just want to, if he can, counter it.
I think it looks like he has Stifle.
Yeah, Stifle doesn't do that with this one. Yeah,
no.
That's an as it enters the battlefield effect. So.
I feel like every time Mox Diamond gets picked up, it's my opponent figuring out, can I Stifle this? Yeah. And every time the answer is no.
Yep, no, definitely not. Big negative Nancy.
Yeah.
But you could have brought in Consign and consigned the Mox Diamond on the way down, though.
Yes.
I think Rob's going to go ask.
Yes.
This is what it looks like. We're gutting the judge to ask the judge call. Judge question.
Judge, can I Stifle Mox Diamond? No.
Nope. Big old nope.
Yeah. Mox Diamond is a very strangely worded card, to be fair.
It is, yeah.
And if you don't play it with it a ton, you're not going to know how it works, really, but
right.
It is a weird thing that comes up often. I'll just go out there and yell, Rob, you can't Stifle a Mox Diamond. Just scream it.
Can't do it, Rob.
Yeah, it's not a trigger, it's just an as it comes in, you have to do it.
Its official wording is, if it would enter, you may discard a land card instead.
Yes.
If you do, you put it onto the battlefield. If you don't, put it into its owner's graveyard. Yeah. So it's very...
There's nothing to Stifle.
This is why I act close. It's a replacement effect.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just, it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Now, Consign would be great here. Mm-hmm. But Consign also doesn't counter, opposing wastelands or things of that nature.
Right.
So, alright.
Yeah, I think if Consign had Stifle text, that card would be way better.
Well, yes, the card would be way too much too good.
It would be so broken.
Right. We found the Sword Splash errors. Unlock the Harbinger. See what's happening here. We're thinking. This one did discard the Basic Forest. Which is
yeah.
pretty interesting, because that could have been used to cast pretty relevant spells here.
Doesn't he have just one? Yeah, just one. So, yeah. Wow.
But...
yeah, that Harbinger is gone.
Really looking for the white mana, yeah.
Now this tabernacle. Ooh.
Yeah, second exploration is often a lot worse than the first.
Yeah, but
You can play it if you have it, but it's not as good as it could be.
So he can at least maze the frog here.
Right, and then put the Netherglyph down to 0 power
Yeah.
after with this Soul Guide Lantern.
Right. Crop rotation. Let's
And
see if
He
Rob wants to
did
do
have
that.
access to the crop rotation plus Life in the Low one I had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Where if you had played the basic fours, you could have crop rotationed the Ottawa away and then rebought it. But it's a little bit of a slow line
Yeah.
and takes a while.
Just wastelanding him.
Yeah. Well,
He's got stifle.
he's definitely got a stifle.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to.
Yeah. If you're not stifling now, you're not stifling ever, I think. So. Let's see that stifle come out.
Yeah, there's stifle.
Yeah. It's just the things where anytime you see your opponent reading Mox Diamond, they have stifle every time.
For sure. Yep, pay for both of the creatures.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a lot. Andrew's in a lot better space here. He mazes the one, and then Soul Guide Lanterns the other. Oh.
Or so it's
Just
Source
plows.
Sure.
Yeah. And then just mazes the other and just
Yeah.
lets it stick around.
But we have the follow-up threat, but it's also graveyard based.
Yeah.
And we still have the Soul Guide.
And that guy's still on an adventure.
Yep. He's still off partying.
Now I think we loan. Yeah. Oh, there's still a Pithing Needle in the deck. That's
A
interesting.
little surprising for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Harbinger was really holding back a lot, and as soon as it left,
Now it's shields down.
yeah,
at
floodgates
this
are
point.
just open.
Right.
We just get back to wastelands, double wasteland, kill one of your things. We have Maze of Ith, and that's just a hard lock.
Right.
There's no way, basically no way for Delver to ever come out of this.
So
Make sure that he doesn't have, there's no surgical in his deck.
Right, and he
There's-
needs another Harbinger to just double Wasteland Saga.
Yup. It's
Woof.
so. Okay, so if it's second land or Silent Gravestone, and then we draw the other one, maybe we can come back into this game.
Right.
But it's gonna be a little bit of a.
Which one does he keep here?
Well, I think neither, because you're only out of Silent Gravestone.
He's keeping one of them, so he
okay.
kept the Goyf.
Well,
But at this point, it
there's
doesn't matter.
Maze in play, and
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you do, and
Yeah.
you are at a point where Loam just gets you. Oh, there's a Thespian Stage. Another there's a Saga.
but we're at the point where you can just play two wastelands, wasteland the fetch land, wasteland the land that the fetch land gets, and it's just too much. Again, it'll take a couple turns to finally sink in.
Double
Yeah,
Wasteland, Thespian Stage.
Yeah,
And then Thespian Stage can be a copy of Saga.
or wasteland.
Yeah, I mean, I think you reasonably want to start closing the game out. So being able to make Stage as a copy of Saga will, we'll see.
You'll win eventually.
It's true. Lands decks, they're the best at doing this. Sit back, do nothing, and win anyways.
Yeah.
So Rob is.
I think I would have double wasteland one of the fetch lands just so you don't get Harbingered again.
Yeah.
But
He's gonna make a construct.
yeah, doesn't really matter how you choose to win the game. I'm sure you can eventually.
We're gonna try to hash something out here, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
The Bajuka Bog is. There's a depths.
yeah,
So-
I mean, it doesn't even matter if it whiff. Like, there's just
There's so much mana in play at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
It really, you're right. It doesn't really matter what happens. So yeah, paying for the tabernacle.
Something's happened.
Oh no, he used the saga to pay for the tabernacle.
Yeah, I think that's the case. I think the
What
saga's
happened?
gone.
What is going on with this? Yeah, what is going on with the saga that's there? Shouldn't that be gone already?
I think so.
And shouldn't he have done that before he loamed?
No, saga goes away after you loam.
No.
Or after you dredge, but before you cast it. But all
He just cast it. That's what I'm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be gone.
Yeah, it should be gone by now. I'm not sure what's going on here.
I'm not sure anything matters.
No. There's a depths and a stage in play, and
Then 50 wastelands
yeah.
and loams, things of that nature. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I still think you're right. I think you double wasteland, but I think they tap their wasteland for something.
Yeah, it's
Just make it
giving
now.
giving Rob a little bit more insurance than I would like, but it's like he's turning.
So many lands in play.
Yeah, it's very hard for me to figure out what's happening on this board.
Yeah,
I definitely-
it's very chaotic at this point. Confusing. All right, we can see the token. Which token is it?
I think it's the original. I think it's the
original?
original foil one. That's my guess. No! Come on.
He doesn't have a token. Oh man.
Truly the worst outcome.
Truly the worst. Yeah.
Just like when I don't have a token, I just slam my deck box into play. I feel like it encapsulates the might of a Merit Blade. Just
Right.
this massive towering object in the middle of the table. That's what I like to do if I forget my token. There we go.
Get a tiny.
There's the original token.
Okay. Get a tiny little Cthulhu plushie.
Yeah. Something like that. Something fun. But no, it is the original. You can see that original foiling on it.
Was that Rob's or is that?
Well, it's signed, so I assume it's Andrew's.
Ah, okay.
Andrew's had all signed,
That's
or
true.
largely signed cards thus far. So.
Right.
Well, at least I win about the correct token.
Yeah. No.
That's
for
all.
sure.
That's all that matters.
That's right. To be fair, I was in the same boat. And I figured it was going to be the original as well. So we're all winners today.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening or what phase it is.
No, I don't either. This game is kind of like both players are sitting there like thinking about things. Like, there might be some praying going on.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on here.
Yeah. Who knows? Rob's figuring out how he can possibly get out of this game ever
Right.
in a million years.
Because even
Comes
if
to the
you
conclusion
like,
that he can.
even if you can like brazen bar or bounce the the
thing,
token,
it just gets made again
just
next turn.
Next turn, yeah.
Yeah.
This is an incredible amount of things happening here, and I'm not really sure.
Yeah. I think Rob's trying to figure it out for us. But I don't know. Going back through what he loams for this turn, I don't know.
Right.
Oh, I think Urza Saga should be in the graveyard. I think.
Yeah,
right.
that's what I'm. That's I was wondering about that this whole time. Like, I'm pretty sure that Saga should be in the graveyard by now.
Yeah, but also, if I'm wrong, I'm just gonna stop taking it and scoop up my cards.
Yeah.
Like-
No, I mean this is kind of an.
It could be, yeah.
He was thinking about block. This was combat.
Oh, okay.
This was him attacking with the construct.
I see.
Yeah.
All right.
What is going on with this Urza Saga though?
I don't know.
Is
Maybe
it on 2? Is it on 3? Like, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
Oh, Wasteland. I mean, I don't think that does a lot here.
I think it does approximately 0.
Right.
When your opponent is playing 3 lands a turn and you play 1, Wastelanding is not always in your favor.
Right. I think he's got a brazen bar or something like that. It has to.
Yeah, but even so,
But you got these
there's
constructs.
a lot of don't pay that.
Yeah,
don't
you
pay for that.
You don't have to pay for Merit Ledge.
Yeah.
Merit Ledge will not be destroyed by your tabernacle.
The thing that's funny is like activating. He's flashing in the Blonker.
Ah.
And
Yeah. How big are these constructs though? They're like what, 4/4s?
Yeah. I don't know.
Looks like 2 constructs plus Soulguide Lantern plus Mox Diamond. So yeah, that's 4/4s.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Take 8, go to 1, double wasteland you.
Yeah.
Maybe there's.
There's the
alright.
handshake. Oh man, that was a nail biter, guys.
Yeah, it was both teams really I mean, as soon as that Mox Diamond was drawn,
Right.
it was.
It went from being in Rob's favor to it was like the advantage bar was all the way over here.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happened, it went.
Yeah, there were just